Hey everybody, I am here talking to you on my AirPods because, just to quickly give you the disclaimer, our entire basement is being renovated and I'm in the loft right now, but it's very noisy, and so I'm hoping with my AirPods in, instead of using my phone or camera microphone, that it will pick up less surrounding sounds and just me. So just in case you hear background noise, also my entire family is home because we're in the middle of a pandemic. So what else are you supposed to do? So they might be talking, dog might be barking, but we're gonna get through this together. I have some tea. I already had coffee this morning, but it's time to switch to tea. I've got some Irish breakfast tea with a little bit of milk, a little bit of honey. Very delicious. Okay, so today's video is my May TBR, and yes, you might be thinking, Emma, it's already May. We're already in the middle of all of this. And I know, and I'm just late to the party. I will let you know what I've already read this month and kind of what's on the table to next be read, and hopefully for June, July, etc. I can put out these videos like before the month actually starts to let you know what I'll be reading throughout that month. Another disclaimer, the thumbnail is a big lie. I am not reading this giant pile of books down here. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, as much as I would love to support local small businesses and go pick up physical copies of books, I've kind of just had to deal with ebooks, so a lot of stuff I'll be reading on my handy dandy Kindle, and I'll talk about which books that is. I will hold this up if it's going to be an ebook and let you know why I'm reading that one. But I have a couple of physical copies here. I'm hoping for June I can just kind of pick random stuff off my parents' bookshelves and just start reading them, or maybe bookstores will start opening again, but we're trying to be as safe as possible and stay home as long as we can to avoid spreading anything. So without further ado, don't forget to subscribe. I think I'm super close to 2,000 subscribers. It's probably been fluctuating, but it would mean a lot to me if you subscribed. Since I have a lot of time on my hands, I plan on uploading videos more consistently. This last semester was a little crazy for obvious reasons, but I'm hoping to get back on track. So let's hop into the TBR. I already read this book. It's Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Basically, back in March, when all of this craziness started happening, I really just needed something comforting, and that is Harry Potter for me. So I started a Harry Potter reread, and I've kind of was slowly working through it. I slipped in a couple other books here and there. I started the Half-Blood Prince at the beginning of this month and finished it up. Really enjoyed this reread. It's one of my favorite books in the series, probably along with or next to Prisoner of Azkaban. So I was looking forward to reading this, of course, because it is one of my favorites. I love learning about Voldemort's history and just how important Dumbledore sees that in Harry's story and in fulfilling this prophecy that we learned about in Order of the Phoenix. And also I think this is probably the funniest book in the series too. So it was really nice to find some humor in one of my favorite series as well during these last couple of weeks. So that made me extra excited to move on to the Deathly Hallows, which of course I have physical copies of all the Harry Potter books, but I left them behind in my college town apartment. And I'm currently at my parents' house as I'm starting to read this book, so I'm just going to have to read the ebook copy I already have, which is fine. I obviously prefer to read books physically, but we work with what we have, so I'm excited to finish out the series strong. I think I read the first chapter last night before I passed out, so I'm going to keep reading the rest of the Deathly Hallows today and throughout this week. So next up on the table after this Harry Potter reread are a couple of Star Wars related novels. I'm not sure what order I'm going to read them in yet, but the first one is the Last Jedi novelization by Jason Fry. And if you know me, you know I loved The Last Jedi, the movie, which is an unpopular opinion. A lot of people did not like that movie, and that is valid, but I also think it's just as valid for it to be one of my favorite Star Wars films. So I'm really excited to read the novelization. A couple of days ago, it was on sale on Amazon for like $2, which is the only reason I purchased it, because I wasn't gonna buy it for like 15 or 20 bucks. But because it was on sale, I decided to purchase it and download it. And I'm really excited to delve into these characters and their thoughts and explore all of these new worlds we get to see in the films, but in a book. So next up in the Star Wars realm is Queen's Shadow by E.K. Johnston. And again, another ebook. It was available for free actually from like May 1st through the 6th or 7th or something to celebrate Star Wars Day on May the 4th. So I of course downloaded that. I'd been wanting to read it because I'd heard really good things from some of my friends who are avid Star Wars readers. I'm obviously more of a film gal when it comes to Star Wars, but I'm excited to dive a little deeper into the novel world. So the Queen's Shadow follows Padme Amidala, from what I understand, kind of as her reign of Queen of Naboo is coming to an end, and I love her as a character. Some people kind of have the feeling that she's a bit of a more whiny female character in Star Wars, but I have to disagree. I think she's just stubborn and strong and not willing to back down, and so sometimes it makes her seem, you know, whiny or irritating. But I love her, so I'm excited to read this book and learn more about Padme Amidala as a character, as a queen, as a senator, and I'll try and share my thoughts on this one after I've read it. So next up on the list is The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. And as you'll see, there's already a receipt bookmark in here because in the past I have tried to read this book to start this series, and I just couldn't get past the first chapter. I have read The Hobbit, so I know I can get into Tolkien's writing style once I actually start and get into it, but just previously I've just not been able to get into it, and I've tried to not kind of waste time. If I'm really not enjoying something, I'm not going to force myself to read it. I'm not afraid to put stuff down. So I'm hoping this time, since I have so much time on my hand, I can push through, because I've heard from people it's actually taken them a couple of times to get into it, and once they do, they love it and they want to go back to it. So I'm really hoping that will happen. I grew up with the Lord of the Rings movies kind of on in the background at home, but I don't remember much except for just, you know, random snippets here and there of what the characters looked like in the movies, and I'm excited to actually read the words that Tolkien put on the page and his description of everything, and then one day go back to these movies, which are like critically acclaimed, a big deal. Okay, sorry if you can hear my family talking in the background. I've got to keep filming. I've been waiting a couple minutes for them to be quiet, but it's not gonna happen. So I actually only have 5 books on this list. I do think it's going to take me a bit to get through Lord of the Rings, just based on my previous experience. So I'm hoping I can pick up the next couple of books if it goes quicker, but I'm trying not to be super ambitious because I tend to do that and then I don't get anywhere near close to finish with the books. But this one shouldn't take too long. It's Marvel's Secret Invasion by Bendis Yu. I last month kind of read one of my first full comics, like the entire trade. It was a Miles Morales one that I really enjoyed. It was so funny, and this obviously involves a lot of different characters in a different time in the universe. After watching the Captain Marvel movie and seeing the Skrulls brought to life on the big screen, I thought it would be cool to pick up another comic based on the Skrulls' Secret Invasion and check it out. I'm trying to experience more of the comic books where all these stories came from. I'm a big fan of the movies and I enjoy watching those with my family, so I'd love to have even more material and more content and information about these characters and these worlds to be able to kind of make predictions, relate them to the movies, and just have more stuff to enjoy. So I'm hoping this one turns out to be interesting and fun, which is kind of what these should be. You know, I feel like you should never have a dull moment. So again, I'll also provide an update on these at the end of the month as to how I enjoyed them and what I thought and if I would recommend them. Brian Michael Bendis and Lino Francis Yu. Oh, it's 2 authors, Bendis and Yu, not Bendis Yu. My bad. Like I mentioned, I'm not like a comic book expert. I'm familiar with all of the characters and a lot of the basic storylines from the movies and hearing stuff from my sister who's a big fan, but I'm excited to dive deeper into this and see if it was worth the read. So that was all for my May TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you plan to read this month or what you plan to read soon. I would love to hear from you guys and hear your recommendations as well. If you've read any of these books, let me know. No spoilers. I mean, like, at this point, I think we've all read Harry Potter. Keep it spoiler free. I would still love to hear what you have to say. With that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye!